Hey, what's up? I'm Jason Charles Miller, and my brand new album, Natural Born Killer, is out. So, I thought I would talk about each one of the songs and just tell you a little bit about them, and maybe let it inspire you to pick it up or download it illegally, whatever you want. Anyway, so the first song is called Devil's Whiskey. I wrote that with my friend Chris Burgess, who lives in Tennessee. I grew up in Virginia. I grew up in the woods of Virginia, kind of near the border of Maryland, and kind of near where the Blair Witch Project was supposed to happen, but whatever, that never happened. But there was this really windy, crazy road that there was a bridge, and the legend was that if you drove under the bridge with your car, honked your horn 3 times, you would hear a baby crying. And so I went there like 3 or 4 times, and we tried it each time, and we never heard a baby crying. But I thought it might be cool to pay homage to that in the song. And the song is all about moonshine. And Chris and I also thought it might be cool for the bridge of the song, the middle of the song, to actually be a recipe for moonshine. So I started looking up different moonshine recipes, and I couldn't really fit one recipe within the structure of the song, so I actually combined several. That being said, do not follow that recipe because you will probably die, but it makes for a good song. You Get What You Pay For. That actually is also on my Uncountry album. It's the only repeat song. It's an 11-song album. And You Get What You Pay For, I wrote that with John Knight and Dave Rivers. And like 8 days after demoing it, it was accepted to be in an episode of True Blood, which was really cool. And this is a new version that I did with a full band. So check it out. Love Ain't Leavin' You. I wrote that with my friend Matthew Hager, actually here in Los Angeles, and it's sort of social commentary on just the way society's changing, the way the world's changing, how you kind of have to work 10 times as hard for 1/10 of the money these days in whatever profession you're doing. And just showing that even though the world is changing constantly, love is not going to change. Here to Kill the Pain. This is actually my favorite song on the album, and it is a song I wrote with Rick Farrell in Tennessee, and it's really just about what people go through dealing with loss and the different things that they do, and how a lot of them end up at the bar, and you know why some people are even at the bar. I mean, I don't really drink, but I've spent my whole life in bars, because if you're a musician, you're gonna play in a bar when you're coming up. So there's a whole bar culture to life, and you know, I thought that should be recognized and talked about. Natural Born Killer, the album title, the title track. I wrote that in Nashville with Drew Smith and Driver Williams. We've since written some more songs since then together. And this was the first one that we wrote, the 3 of us together. It's about bourbon. You know, it's about you know, Kentucky's oldest son. It's sort of about the negative aspects of alcohol. Not to be preachy, but just throwing it out there, just as an observer, and what it can do. You know, I'm a natural born killer. I don't need no gun. I like to take my time. I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions to that one, but it's a really, really powerful track, and I think that it is a great title for the album too, and I think it represents the album well. The Way You Still Want Me. This one is a little departure for me because the character in it is extremely egotistical, and I call it the Douchebag Anthem because it definitely is, and it's just sort of taken from that perspective of just a real, overconfident dude, and I wrote it with John Knight and Steve Freeman, and we had a lot of fun with it. And an interesting thing about that song is we wrote it like a year and a half ago. We didn't finish it, and I was looking for one more high energy, up-tempo song for the album, and Steve was like, what about that one? What about that one? And I went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh my God, this song's great. So then we finished it over Skype, actually, and then that was one of the last songs that I recorded for this album just in May, so just 2 months ago. And couldn't be happier with it. It's just, it's a rocker. People love it live, so I'm happy we recorded it. Up to Me, that's actually out now as a single, and I wrote it with Joe Doyle, and we really just sat down to write it. I mean, we had the idea in our head, let's write a song about a bar, but from the bar's perspective. And I think that those kind of songs are always really interesting when you take the life of an inanimate object and give it life. And this ended up being a bar that was around since 1936 to modern day, and just all the things and changes that it's seen, and kind of how everything changes but everything stays the same. So really happy with that one. Long, Long Gone, I wrote that with Andrew Rollins, and it's just sort of a fun traveling song, just a song about a guy trying to get out of his life that he wishes he could make things better, wishes he could do more, and I think we've all felt that way, and I think it's just like a cool driving rock country song. Raise a Little Hell with an Angel. I've been playing this song live for years. I wrote it with Jonathan Clark, and we kind of just took inspiration from the woods, growing up in the woods, growing up in Virginia, and just, it's sort of a song about a story that I wish might have happened to me, and it never did, but sometimes you got to write about things that you hope might happen. As Good Love Goes, I wrote this with Tony Stampley and Blue Foley. Blue Foley's one of my best friends, and I admire Tony Stampley immensely, and to get the two of them in the room with me was just like, it was really awesome. It's just a song about unrequited love. We wrote it all night. It was one of those all-nighters. We just kept grinding it out, and couldn't be happier with it. It's a sad song. It's a song about a love that's not coming back, and I think we can all relate to that. We've all been there before. So, I chose to cover Hank Williams' "I Saw the Light," and we played a lot live with my live band, and the version is I'm really happy with the version. It's I brought in Brenda Lee Eager, and her vocals are amazing. Anytime I can get her to sing on something that's appropriate, I do. Even if it's not appropriate, I do. I just get her on there. But I'm really glad this song really, she shines in this song. It really brings it to the next level. And I think it's an homage also to some of my rock roots and things like that. You've got screaming guitars in the song. It's like a version you've never heard before, so I'm really proud of it. And, I think it's a great capper to the album. It's a great way to just, boom, here's the album, here it is, and, in your face. So there it is, Natural Born Killer. The album's out now. Now you know a little bit more about it, more about each song, and know a little bit more about me. So check it out, and I'll see you out on the road.